All right, everybody. How you doing? Jimmy here again, and I want to quickly discuss some of the really quick things that you can do that will allow you to stay top of mind professionally and specifically through email with Moxi Engage. Now, there's three things that I really want to show you. I want to show you how to set up Favs and Saves, how to do neighborhood news, and then finally how to set up some campaigns. You know, one of the fantastic things about Moxi Engage is, you have these automated type things that can happen for you that will allow you to stay top of mind, and you will look fantastic doing it. It's going to be consistently branded specifically to you. So it's absolutely awesome. So let me show you the things that I'm going to show you individually how you can add one person to a campaign, neighborhood news, and Favs and Saves. And then what I'm going to do is I want to show you how you can possibly do some of these a little bit easier if you're using groups like for neighborhood news, or if you have a campaign that's already running. So let's start first with setting up Favs and Saves. So what you're going to do, so Favs and Saves is the search. And like we talked about in the first video, it's all about getting them onto your website. So the more you set up this, the more you're going to get more people onto your website, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look at a profile card. You can see here for the profile notes, activities are let's talk about this real quick. This is just a way that you can see what has been happening specifically with a person in your database. So this will say any presentation you've sent, any searches that you've sent out, any neighborhood news, any campaigns, if they've opened any of this stuff, you'll be able to see all this. And then another thing you'll be able to do here too is, let's say this is a lead coming from your brokerage and you need to update it to stay with the engagement rules that are put in place. I can easily click create custom activity, and I can actually put some notes when I talk to them and hit done, and it's going to actually count as being active, or being activity, and keep me in the engagement rules, which is cool. Next up on the left-hand side here, you're going to see where it says Favs and Saves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Favs and Saves, and literally this is the same search functionality on your website for Favs and Saves, and when you're doing a Moxi presentation specifically around pricing in the CMA. So here I can come in and I'm going to do something very specific with price, because I know this person can only go up to, let's say, $400,000. All right. And I know that they need at least 3 bedrooms. So this is all I'm going to do. I may zoom out a little bit here and draw. Take the time to learn how to use the system though, please. It's very important that you learn. We'll do right about here. It's very important that you learn how to use the system correctly when setting up searches, because there's a lot of filters that you can actually do to be able to play around with all this stuff. So again, we're going to create a search. You're going to find the area that you want. You can change the pricing to whatever you want. So I'm just going to leave it like this for the search, and I'm going to hit email settings. This is very, very similar to very similar to MLS. I can actually sit there and turn around and change the name of the search, change the message here. Now there are some settings where I can completely change this, so it's a different message every single time, which is nice. So if you don't like the way this looks, go into your settings and you can change what those generic emails that actually go out. I can decide if this never goes out, if it's going to go out every hour, every day, or weekly. I can also add no new listings email to it, which I don't necessarily say I would recommend doing that right now. And I can add this search to the buyer's area of interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on weekly, and I'm going to hit save and send. Once this is done, this will ask me if I want to set them up for neighborhood news. Now I can based on that area, and this will automatically, if I click subscribe, will let them know what's going on in the community, that I'm setting up a search because I did it by zip code. And that's how you set up Favs and Saves. Cool. That's going to go out. If they start to save things, I'll actually see here. So I'll see the favorites. If they actually like anything, I'll actually be able to see that in that standpoint. Next up, I want to come down here and I'm going to click add subscriptions. This is where I'm going to add 2 things. I'm going to add neighborhood news by clicking this button. Now you have 2 ways that you can do it. You can do quick, which is by zip code. Custom is a targeted area. So custom would be like drawing out a map around a community and making that your area for neighborhood news. Or you can do quick, and I could just put in a zip code. Done. Now they are set up with neighborhood news. The other subscription, when you click add, that you can add them to is listing announcements. Now I talked to you about the sales flow and working someone through the sales flow so you can get the just listed and just sold calls out. So what this will do is when I add these people to this by checking the boxes here to the right, they will automatically get a just listed and just sold as I'm moving that person through. They're going to get automated marketing instantaneously that looks good, that you don't even have to take the time to do, which is fantastic. So every person needs to be set up on listing announcements, neighborhood news. I highly recommend to get everybody set up on that. And those are two things that if we're going out every week for Favs and Saves, that's 52 searches or emails that are going out. Let's say you don't even do that and you just want to do neighborhood news. That goes out every month, every 30 days that goes out. Okay. So what that means is that's 12 touch points right there from email that are automatically going, that keep you top of mind. And all it is it's all around information around what's happening truly in the market. It's all data. It has nothing to do with what the news is saying about the market. It's all data. This is how long stuff is taking to sell. This is the difference from last month to this month, yada, yada, yada. Next thing I want to show you how to do is campaigns. So if you click on campaigns, so at the top here you have dashboard, people, calendar, and then campaigns. What you're going to do here is you need to actually start a couple campaigns if you want to save a little bit of time by doing these campaigns. If you haven't done it, you're going to have a lot of blank stuff right here. There's not going to be anything here, but let's talk about what each one of these things are first. So first you have my campaign. So these are campaigns you're going to have to download into for you so you can send them out. An e-blast is the same thing as a campaign, but it just goes out one time, whereas a campaign goes out multiple times if it's every month, if it's every 7 days, if it's a week from now. So an e-blast is the same thing, but when you hit send, it goes out and it's done. But it's a one-time e-blast that you can send as many people as you want, which is kind of cool. Neighborhood news. This literally just shows you kind of how many people are set up on neighborhood news, and then gives you open rates, click rates, and unsubscribes. Same thing with e-blasts and campaigns. This is fantastic because you can see if a campaign's working well or not. If people are opening it, if they're unsubscribing, I can even click on it to see who opened it. So if I wanted to really use this system, I would click on this and call whoever it was. Next up, you have listing announcements. Again, this will show you your conversion rates. This will show you the stats from open rates to click rates and things like that. So again, you have to use the system correctly to be able to get that to work out for you. And then you have your emails. But specifically, I want to talk about campaigns because e-blast and campaigns are very, very similar with how they actually work. So what you're going to do is you have to, when you want to start a new campaign, you want to click add from library, the little blue box up at the top right. Find the campaign that you want. So for instance, Century 21 has given us Fine Homes and Estates, commercial e-newsletter, Life at Home newsletter for sellers and buyers, seasonal home maintenance, holiday cards, a lot of different holiday cards that are available, buyer warm prospects, seller warm prospects, recently closed, seller, buyer, a lot of different campaigns that you can set. So take the time to review what's in here. Okay, so take the time, and let's say, for instance, let's say we want to use one of the holiday campaigns because I recommend putting everybody on it. If you want to see what it looks like, just click preview. And as you click preview, you're going to see all the campaign here on the right, what is still going out. And then you'll also be able to click through and see what each one looks like. It's that simple. Do you like it? Awesome. Click add to campaigns. Now I've added this campaign multiple times. So this one, as you can see, the first thing that populated for me here is copy number 7. That's how many times I've downloaded this to show how to do it. But this is the cool part. So this says I have 24 campaigns, but that adds up everything that I have here. So I have 14 that are waiting setup. Waiting setup is going to be my number 7 right now. And this is how easy this is. Click on it. So whatever this campaign is that I'm sending out, I click on it. The first thing you're going to do is come over here to setup. And then you're going to click add recipients. Now you can do it individually if you want to, or you can click groups. Remember I said it was important to put groups in here? If you have a specific campaign you want to run just for, let's say, past buyers, I can easily go to this group and add them to it. And then that's it. It's fantastic. I don't have to set it up for one or two. I don't have to set it up for all 300 people that are in that group. I can set it up one time for all 300 people, which is fantastic. The other thing I can do is I can choose all contacts. So if I want to put, in this case, it's a holiday campaign, I would put everybody on it and then hit add. Side note on campaigns. If you have a group set up on a campaign, so let's use a buyer. You have a buyer group set up and you have them set up on the Life at Home newsletter for buyers. Whenever I add a new person into my Moxi Engage and I add them to that buyer group that is on that campaign already, it automatically adds them to that campaign. So I just saved a ton of time. I just saved a ton of time because all I got to do is add them, put them in the group, boom. They're on my Life at Home newsletter that goes out every single month. So it works with any of the campaigns. So keep that in mind. After everybody has been loaded in here, you're going to click save. Next step after this is going to be the campaign schedule. We will be seeing more campaigns coming out here shortly. We got a couple more months left and they will have new ones available for us. So we will have to revisit this and start this all over again. It doesn't continue to go. It stops after a certain point and then you have to rerun it again. Okay. So as we are going through this, you'll see the campaign. I can edit the schedule if I want to. Now, I would not want to do that because these are going out on holidays, but for some of the other campaigns, you might not want everything going out on the same date. You can make a couple adjustments. You can even take certain ones out if you want to. But once that is completed and you click save one more time, you have to wait until this blue box up here says run campaign. When you click run campaign, it will sit on the screen for a little bit of time because it takes, depending on how many people you have, it will take a few moments for it to kind of get everything set up to go out. And then it will return you back to this campaign page. Once it does that, you know your campaign has started. So that's the same with any campaign that you want. You go to add from library, pull in the campaign that you want, get it set up, and start getting ready to rock and roll with it. E-blasts are the same thing. Now, the thing is with the e-blast, they're going to be made for the brokerage. So your broker is going to have to do a couple things to allow your broker is going to have to do a few things to allow you to be able to make your own e-blast. So make sure you look at some of my other videos I have on that standpoint where you can make your own. But at least on campaigns, that's what we're going to do. Now, let me show you the other easy way. Now that I have that campaign running, remember I said if you add somebody to a group where it's running, it's already ready to go. But let's say you don't want to add them to any of those groups that has something running. I can easily do a couple things that I've already shown you today. I can go down and I can find everybody that's in this group. Or maybe I want to filter out a group and I want to put them all on something, okay? All right, so let's say I can select all, or I can just select who I want. So I'm going to use these two as an example. And then I'm going to come up here to where it says add to. Now we talked about how easy it is to add multiple people to the groups. So I can do that already. But here I can easily add them to campaigns as long as they're running. So you have to make sure that these things are running. Add them to campaigns. I can also do in bulk, I can add them to neighborhood news. Now, if I'm doing a quick one, it's going to ask me to put their zip codes in here that I'm going to actually set it up for them. But I can do that pretty quickly without having to click all those buttons. And then finally, I can even come down here and put them on listing announcements. So I can actually come in here and see they've already subscribed, but I can actually choose everybody that I want and then sign them up for listing just sold and just listed engagement right away. So all in all, when you look at all the three videos, the first thing you need to do is get your people in there, clean them out, categorize them, put them in your sales flow, and ensure that your tasks are good to go. So that way you're logging in every day. You see who you need to follow up with, when you need to follow up, and what you need to follow up with them on, and truly see what your book of business in your pipeline looks like. The other things you want to make sure that you're doing is setting them up on campaigns, setting them up on neighborhood news, putting them in groups, and then putting them on Favs and Saves and just listed and just sold. You're going to have a lot of automated stuff that's going to happen for you to keep you top of mind that looks fantastic, consistently branded to you, along with giving you the tools that you need to know who to follow up with, when to follow up with, and then get on with your day and be as efficient as possible. So that's Moxi Engage.